Good. I didn't have to hold it that long today. Good Wednesday morning. It's the main event. I was planning on holding it for a long time as it takes a while to come to me for some reason when it's just me in the studio. But folks, you're looking at your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and 17-year NFL veteran, three-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. Well, he's off here the next couple days. He's up in Las Vegas for a Raiders reunion. I know a lot of people don't know. He was signed by the Raiders, and he got paid by the Raiders for a couple years before. That was right before he went to the Dallas Cowboys as well, but got injured there as well. Him and John Giesick, his old teammate there with the Cowboys Raiders and then the Cowboys. Going up there for a reunion there of the Raiders veterans and some festivities over the next couple of days for them, including their preseason game coming up here this week. So that's where Dale is, but I got you here all set up. Don't forget, today's Wednesday. Coach Sheehan, Scottsdale Christian Academy, joins us coming up at 9 o'clock, fresh off their victory over at Pima. We'll ask him about the bus situation and all of that stuff after that game. As of now, no game this week. Of course, we'll see how they're prepping, getting ready. But there's a schedule filler for them, an update coming your way as well for that. The Ann says, happy Frosh Football Wednesday. That's right. Man, it's now the big schools are getting underway this week. And freshman team tonight for Desert Ridge, battling it out as well tonight. Of course, their first game is this Friday, coming up at Gilbert for Desert Ridge with, of course, Coach Smith there, and his dad. He was the coach in the NFL, but his dad, as you know him, is Lovey Smith, helping out with that team as well. But they kick off Friday at Gilbert, Queen Creek High School, which of course we follow those East Valley schools. Kicks off Thursday night here coming up as well, and so it's that time of year, folks. Busy. And today, by the way, today's like the hottest day. 116, I think I heard coming in today is what we're expected to be today. Hydrate out there is what you're going to have to do, folks, because it is crazy talk out there with this weather this time of year. Normally it's just hot and humid, meaning 105 or something. So I'm sure the kiddos will be taken care of. Games, probably tonight at 7. I'm sure the kiddos will be taken care of and water breaks, etc. Out there. But not the day today to deal with that at all. That's crazy talk is what we're looking at. This weather's getting nuts, folks. Getting nuts out there. But look, lots to talk about today. Diamondbacks last night. Walterman, another walk-off home run for him. This time, even more spectacular. Pinch hitting, we'll look into that. Torrey, interesting enough, said some things, and this is one thing it drives me nuts about this regime here and everything. But he, of course, talked about the shouting incident the game before with the stealing of signs by the third base coach and things to that effect. We'll play that as well, and have fun with that as well. Day game for the Diamondbacks, 12:40 p.m. today. Erod on the mound, and then we'll just talk some other baseball stuff out there and go around because the World Series champions probably coming from the National League this year. If you were to put money on it, that would be where you would roll to. We'll talk a little bit about other baseball stuff out there as well as we go through. NFL news, Cardinals made a move yesterday as well. Of course, they're in Green Bay for a joint practice here starting today. Their preseason game comes up Friday night for the Cardinals against Green Bay. And then 10 days off roughly. Less than 10 days, right? 7. I'll do the math now. 9 days off, 8 days off before their opening game to start the season on that Sunday coming this way. And then college football will kind of set the stage for you out there. It's coming this week. ASU is going to name their starting quarterback probably this week. We know who we anticipate it to be, though, and I'll just tell you guys there'll be no surprise here. But we're waiting for the official announcement to come out from Arizona State. They've had three season-ending injuries. Now, not to starters, but to guys that were scheduled to contribute. A linebacker yesterday, they announced is out for the season as well. So 3 guys expected to contribute. So they're losing some of their depth with these season-ending injuries that have occurred so far here in this preseason for the Senate. Which you go, it's 3 guys. Yeah, and they're not the starters. They're not the guys, that you expect, to have a big part of this team. They're backups, but they're also expected to contribute. It's a depth injuries here for Arizona State. And you go, oh, it's only 3. Yeah, it's only 3. But depth becomes a concern, especially as the season goes on as well. So just interesting things happening around Arizona State. And tomorrow and Friday, we'll be delving more into Arizona State and Arizona. I know we haven't really talked much about them. It's training camp period. It's like Cardinals training camp. What are you going to say about practices? People look good in practices. Coach, at least in terms of Coach Dillingham, he complains about the practices all the time and things to that effect. And it's kind of funny to watch how that plays out. But we'll get into that here coming up as well. Don't forget, live on YouTube. TME Media AZ is where you can find us out there as well. And then as soon as we're done here, everything goes up on demand on YouTube as well as over on Rumble. For those of you that don't like YouTube, we are on Rumble as well. And reason why we're over on Rumble, well, The Real Matrix is over there as well. Every Friday at noon, a new episode comes out. You know what? And it's funny. I forgot to look it up. I don't know what this week's episode is going to be on the subject. I'll have to get that for you guys. But over on Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME Media gives all of our shows. Click that channel button. All of our shows are on demand over there. And the Real Matrix exclusive there as well. For those of you that listen to us on our audio podcast versions of the show, thank you very much for you doing that as well and finding it. Just remember to just hit like and subscribe for it so it pops up there and dings, and share us with your friends if you would out there. We appreciate it 1,000%. Some of you may have noticed I've been putting it out on Twitter as well. We just do some housekeeping here to start the show. I've been putting like some shorts up. Like when Uncle Lou comes in, I break out his NFL portion and I break out his UFC portion. And I put them up on Twitter, on X, as 2 separate posts. In case you're only interested in the NFL talk. In case you're only interested in the UFC talk. And something came up on Saturday where I was wanting to go back and listen to a couple things he said. I listened to his About Business podcast. And it was nice just to pull up Twitter and pull up the UFC portion. So I didn't have to find it and scroll back and forth and stuff to that. So we've started doing that. And those are also up on YouTube as well. And we're going to start putting them up on Rumble also. There's a shorts category of there. And that's all those are as well from those Twitter things. And those are just meant to make it easy for people to find stuff. I do the same thing with the Pit Stop. For those of you that don't want to sit down and listen to a whole hour of Pit Stop, which by the way, Pit Stop is tomorrow for you guys. But we don't. We break it up so where, they look ahead. So this weekend, for instance, at Daytona, we'll do the O'Reilly section only for the look ahead, the Cup Series look ahead only. And that just makes it a little easier in case that's all you want to listen to. We're giving you those options as well out there. So let me see here really quick. Okay, Sheehan's just giving me an update as well. Let me do some programming here. They have a walkthrough, doing some stuff, for what they are doing, for his job there. So he's trying to just schedule the time here. So we'll get it all fixated here, folks, on that side. I apologize for the production mishap there. But of course, last night, big news last night, Waldy doing what Waldy does. 3 home runs with the Diamondbacks. 2 of them walk off to go. So let me see here really quick. Sorry, folks. He's just having to he's trying to just fit it into his schedule with some other things he's had that's come up and everything there. But let's throw it up there, man. Waldschmidt last night, pinch hit home run, or pinch hit coming up to the plate. 2 outs for him. Here it is. Waldschmidt, game winner last night.
Uses. Ryan Waldschmidt, way back to left field, and the Cubs comeback is complete.
mean, fantastic pinch hit, 2-run home run. Exciting as you can be. They're on the verge of losing the first 2 games to the Cubs there as well. And he knocks out the home run there, 2-run home run to take the lead. It doesn't get more exciting than that. And young kid on top of it, putting the team on his shoulders. I love to see that from him as well. So from there, then you go to him after the game. They caught up to him at the locker room as well. It's always good to me to see, like, you get excited in that moment. You saw the excitement of the team from the broadcast there, and then you catch him in his locker room. After he's in there, relaxed a little bit and everything. They asked him kind of what his mindset was and things to that. Here's Waldy after the game.
When you put that kind of pressure on yourself, it's really hard to perform. So for me, I just kind of went up there and, I wanted to have fun with it. I had a smile on my face. I was just really grateful for the opportunity to be in the major leagues, getting to pinch hit in the 9th inning with a chance to win the game, So I think when you look at it with that perspective, it makes life a lot easier to kind of go up there and just have fun and play relax. And I'm a big believer on, trying to take as much pressure off yourself as possible, because it's really hard to perform when all you're thinking about is success and the results of things. Whereas if you go up there and I try to put together the best at bat as possible and I try and get on base for the next guy to also have the chance to do the same thing, I think it really makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, look at that mindset, right? Going up to that plate. I think that's amazing. He goes up there and he doesn't have the expectation to win the game with the home run. He feels like, you put too much pressure on yourself. I think he's just got the fantastic mindset. He's got the fantastic setup there at home plate. I just like everything that he stands for and what he does there. Going to the plate with his approach and theatrical moments. Pinch hit home run for him last night as well. Ann says on the YouTube chat, don't forget, 623-252-6670. Our text line. You can text us there if you'd like to. By the way, yes, we have been getting, and we get it. Tori's got to go. Texts are out there for you. Still here. It's great waking up and seeing those texts to the text line when we get into the studio. At TME Sports Show on X, you can tag us there. Anytime you're watching or listening, we don't respond to you on the text line. That's just private. We respect your phone and your privacy of your phone. So just incoming on those, we don't respond there, except for, we'll talk about it on air and everything if you'd like us to. And then also on Twitter, though, you can tag us at TME Sports Show. Of course, we see them there. We respond to them on there as well. Of course, YouTube chat is where you can find us also. Like Ann chimes in as well and says, Waldy was absolutely amazing. Love seeing these young guys get their moments. And that's what's even more exciting, right? It's just young kid, right, was sent down earlier this year, was told he needs to work on this and work on that. Meanwhile, guys veterans who are struggling get multiple opportunities and just sit there and squander and squander and squander. And then they come up and these young kids are coming up and taking advantage of the situation and being up here. I think it's great and fantastic that to see that happen. And nothing, I had written that game off yesterday. Not going to lie to you. I was like, another loss for the Diamondbacks. And pinch hit home run. Fantastic to see there from Walt Schmidt last night as well. Now, so it's the Cubs. You're 1-1 against the Cubs. Day game today, 12:40 p.m. Erod on the mound for them. You know what? I don't know who the Cubs got. Let me look this up really quick here. I didn't even think to look here. Matthew Boyd is on the mound for the Cubs today as well. An ESPN game at 12:40, I believe is where you can find it. I know Boyd's having a good year this year. It's kind of the opposite, actually, of yesterday, where the pitcher yesterday for the Cubs had a 5-6 record and like a 2.9 ERA, right? No run support for him. Well, Matthew Boyd's 8-2 on the season, but he's got a 4.15 ERA for him. So kind of a different situation for the pitchers that you have coming up here for the Cubs. As we get into this, you got. Here's the secret to the Cubs. You got to quiet their bats. You can't let their bats get hot because they will get hot against you. So Erod's got to go out there and avoid those big innings, right? Keep it to a 1-run game, 2-run game, maybe at the beginning of it, and let your offense hopefully come out and win it on that side. Now, what's exciting about this and what they're doing? Obviously, they've had this big distraction. Did you notice yesterday, no talk about the distraction that they've had over the last week. Like the first day where there was no conversations about it and things to that effect. It's going to change coming up on Tuesday, on Monday and Tuesday. It's going to change. It's going to be a distraction again. But yesterday was the quiet day around that. And you expect it to continue until we get, like I said, closer to Monday and the Phillies are in town. That's great to see. And then the comeback win on top of it. Now, there was a distraction a little bit yesterday, and I kind of giggle about that. We showed it yesterday if you watched the game in game one of the Cubs series. Bannister and some of the people in the Diamondbacks dugouts were yelling and back and forth with the Cubs dugout and the third base coach about stealing signs. Yesterday with Bruce Cooper here, we showed, we talked about it. And I found the distinction interesting from Merrill Kelly yesterday that we talked about, and we played his comments on it. He's like, players steal signs all the time, and our job is to keep them from doing it. But then where they drew the line was a coach, stealing the signs and relaying them and stuff like that. I found that an interesting distinction yesterday from Merrill Kelly when we played those words. Well, then before the game yesterday, Tori went out there. This drives me nuts about the Tori Lavello regime and stuff to that effect. You don't get too many coaches in Major League Baseball that publicly apologize to their opponents, even if it's wrong. Even if somebody goes up there and argues and screams and has a fit about something, you generally don't see an outward apology to the opponents. It was in the heat of the moment. He was stealing signs, folks, if you don't know. He was stealing Merrill Kelly's signs at third base and relaying them to second base. That was what was happening. What are you apologizing for? You got get mad about it. If you didn't get mad about it, you put them on notice that you know what they're doing. Right? You do that type of stuff, and you get mad about it. Does anybody have an issue with that? Does anybody have an issue with the way Bannister and some of those coaches in that dugout and even Merrill Kelly reacted to that situation? I'd be more upset if you didn't get upset. I have zero problem with what they did. They caught him relaying signs, and they flipped out about it and did what they needed to do. Well, here's Tori yesterday before the game talking about the situation again. Here's Tori.
I would circle back with you today after I got a little information, and I talked to the league. And there's just a very slippery interpretation according to what I remember being said in a lot of meetings leading up to the season with the new base coaching boxes. I thought it was supposed to be kept between the white lines. I spoke to Mike Hill today. It was a fantastic conversation, and he gave me the fastest version that the third base coach and the first base coach can do whatever they want as long as they are inside of the dimensions of the base coaching box. So I stand corrected and had a chance to call Counts, apologize to him, and told him that we were wrong and they were doing everything right. So his response was not surprising.
I don't know what to say. He can do whatever he wants in there. All right, so let him steal your signs. Fix it. Yell at him. I don't have a problem with being upset that somebody's stealing your signs. Yes, it's your job to make sure they're not stealing signs. Yes, that was a rumor about Merrill Kelly earlier this year that people know what he's throwing. And the Merrill Kelly seller is just slider. They were honing in on in that game one series. I'll tell you this also: if the Cubs picked it up, other teams have picked it up over the season. So now they got confirmation it's happening, and they got mad about it. Why are we apologizing for getting mad? Did the coach do anything wrong? No. In that third base coach line, no. Did he do anything wrong? Absolutely not. He did his job. He, saw the signs and issues that were going on. He relayed them to his team. It was something they had in plan, obviously, and everything, and you got mad about it. Why are we apologize for that, folks? That's what I get for loading up my computer here to see what's out there in the world. I don't get the constant apologies about everything. You go up to him before the game, and if you saw video, I saw some media outlets out there had Bannister and the third base coach talking before the game, civilly. It was an argument that happened. You flipped out because your signs are being stolen. You need to fix it on your end, but they put them on notice. I don't get why you have to apologize. I don't get why you have to do all this other stuff. I don't get it. You can go up to him afterwards and be like, hey, you know what we did. Right? We had to stand up for our guy, and stuff like that. And, sorry, it got out of hand, maybe you say. Like, hey, sorry, we were, F-bombing across the dugouts, across the fields at each other and all of that. I'm sorry after the game I said you guys were cheating and stuff because that obviously wasn't the case. Because Torrey did say they were breaking some rules or whatever by doing it. And they obviously weren't. But it's just like, what is happening with the constant going back and, oh, we made this mistake. I don't get it. Ethan says his face tells you he's still upset about it while he was talking there as well. So, like I said, the rumors have been there. I heard the rumors back in, I want to say end of May, beginning of June, that Merrill Kelly might be tipping pitches. Might have been sooner than that, to be honest with you. Nobody has proof of it. It's just people that study baseball, people that do things that I don't do. Folks, I will never do this. It's too time consuming, etc. But there are people out there, baseball people, that can look at pitches and see something on certain pitches. It could be as simple as you move your glove differently. You always look to second base. You always look to your right when you're going to throw a slider. They pick up on this stuff. And obviously the Cubs picked up on something. They had it. Which also tells me other teams have had it as well. Get mad about it. And then fix it. Simple as that. Remember, Merrill Kelly yesterday said, hey, it's my job to fix it. There's obviously something out there, and I got to figure it out and fix it. But then at the same time, the Diamondbacks have a group. I know they have in the past. I'm assuming they do now. They have a group within their organization that also analyzes if somebody's tipping pitches or somebody's doing something. The Diamondbacks are also scouting the other pitchers. The Diamondbacks are scouting their own pitchers to see if they see anything. So the rest of the league has picked up on something Merrill Kelly's doing, and the Diamondbacks haven't figured it out yet. That's issue number 2. But just the constant apologies. I could be wrong on this apology thing, but it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts how we have to go and apologize to teams for freaking out because you're mad about something. Get mad about it. They're outright stealing your signs and relaying it to second base, and you caught them. I have zero issue with you causing a scene about that. Do it. Cause a scene. F-bomb back and forth between dugouts. And then afterwards, you clean it up privately and go, hey, guys, we know you're allowed to do that. I'm sorry we got heated. We have to defend our guy. Whatever you want to say privately. But to go to a podium and do that stuff. What? What is happening? I don't get it. It's those simple things that drive me nuts. And keep in mind, it's a culmination of multiple years of apologies and things to this effect. I could be completely out of line here, and that's fine if you think so. It's just, I'm just getting so sick and tired about the apologies constantly and stuff to that effect as well. So Diamondbacks here, right? Right now they're tied 1-1 in this 3-game series with the Cubs. Today, 12:40, Erod is pitching for the Diamondbacks at 12:40 today. Go win this series, man. You need to go win this series. The Diamondbacks got some breaks yesterday. Got some breaks yesterday with teams they're competing with. Throw up the NL wildcard standings, if we would. Here, Ethan, the NL standings out there. So obviously Cubs, still 5 games up in that first spot. They're not losing that. They're going to be in the playoffs. Cubs are just a fantastic team out there. Now, Phillies and Padres have all of a sudden gone on a 2-game losing streak as well. From that side. Oh, yeah, and, shoot, I have that in my notes here, and I skipped over it. I'll get to that in a minute. But 2 losses for the Phillies and the Padres, and devastating loss yesterday, where big comeback from behind victory there. But San Diego Padres are 5-5. They've come back down to earth a little bit. Diamondbacks got the win yesterday, obviously able to gain that one game. So they're 1 game out of that 3rd spot. I told you Marlins will come up. St. Louis came up a little bit. Well, they're falling back down. Cardinals have lost 4 in a row now. Marlins have lost 2 also, back down to 4. Your competition to make the playoffs are the Phillies and the Padres coming up here. And the Padres are scuffling. You have the opportunity. Now get the distractions behind you. And another big distraction is coming up at the end as well from that perspective there. So they got lucky yesterday with the come from behind victory there. and Phillies losing. I think it was the Phillies that had the big comeback from behind yesterday as well. And they got that win. So go win it today. Who cares? You don't care what the Padres and Phillies do from their perspective. You're not worried about what they do. You got to win more than you lose in order to beat them and get into the playoffs. You can't control what the Phillies and Padres do. You can only control what the Phillies do next week when you play on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with the giant distraction coming into your organization again if he comes back at that time, which all signs say he's going to. That's the only time you can control what the Phillies are going to do in this playoffs is when you play them face-to-face. The only time you can control what the Padres are doing is when you play them face-to-face. Otherwise, don't worry about what they're doing. Play your game and win your games. The rest is up to everybody else, and you can't control that going forward. They got lucky. That is one thing I do have on my notes here really quick. Robert's chimed in. We'll get into that here in a second. I tend to agree with Robert on this. But Lawler. Is he the unluckiest human being on the planet in terms of sports stars? Seriously. He's been in rehab before and taken balls off of his arm and his hand and had to take more time off to come back because of a hand injury after getting hit with the ball, etc. That was scary last night, getting that ball off of his noggin. Last night as well. Reports are he's going to be okay. Obviously, probably I'm going to assume he's going to take today off here at 12:40 game just to make sure his head's in the right spot, literally, not taking off. But it just scary looking thing there. But was able to walk off, and I heard that just feeling the after effects of taking a ball in the head. But how unlucky is Lawler? He's got to worry about his hamstrings exploding on him constantly. Now the ball just seems to find him in these odd positions and places out there. So thoughts with Lawler? I don't expect him to be in the lineup today. It would be a Diamondbacks thing to put him in there. But I don't expect him. I suspect they'll give him an extra day off here and let him clear his head here as the days go on as well. I did not officially hear if he had a concussion or not, to be honest with you. I did not hear that at all. Robert does say, though, never, ever. That's how he spelled it. Never, ever apologize. I agree with him. Like I said, you can walk up to him before the game and say, hey, yesterday, we were protecting our guy, sorry for the F-bombs, whatever, stuff like that. But to apologize for catching somebody stealing your signs and getting mad about it, I don't get it. Yeah. Robert goes on to say, own it and move on. If Kelly thought something was going on, put one between a guy's shoulder blades. If he complains, direct him to the third base coach. Now, Robert, that's not Torey Lovello in this team. Torey Lovello doesn't coach that way. The team doesn't work that way. That's old school baseball. Well, I agree with you. That's not how the Diamondbacks operate. That's how most of Major League Baseball doesn't operate that way today, especially the Diamondbacks. Torey Lovello would actually go apologize to the other team and blame his own player if they did something like that. But what you can do, if you know he's doing it, is do what you did. You step off the mound and you stare at the guy. Did anybody see Merrill Kelly when he went to the dugout? He literally leaned on the railing. He had a towel on the railing, and he leaned against the railing. He did not take his eyes off the Cubs dugout the whole time he was in that dugout while the Diamondbacks were hitting. He just stared at him. All right? Or you change it up, and you go, okay, this is supposed to be a slider. The problem is he doesn't know what he does on a slider. That's triggering it. They Diamondbacks obviously hadn't picked up that people have caught on to something he's doing. Because otherwise they would have already fixed it. So in that moment, Merrill Kelly didn't know what he was doing. But what you'd like to see is like you could kind of change it up a little bit. Like, okay, because they did think that they knew the slider was coming. So you go, okay, call a slider. But I'm throwing a fastball. So call a slider. I'm going to prepare my pitch like I'm doing a slider, but a fastball's coming. I don't know if that's something you could do or not because I might mess them up. I don't know. I like where your head's at, Robert. Problem is not the Diamondback way. Let's just leave it at that out there as well. From that side, but I do, and I love where your head's at out there. Hey, other things in baseball, just to touch on it. This is fascinating to me because we just showed you. Throw up the NL wild card again, Ethan, just so people can have a visual while I talk about this and everything. So right now, right, 71 and 62 is where the Padres are in that third wild card spot. Diamondbacks are just outside at 70 and 63. 7 games above 500 is where we're at for the Diamondbacks on this side. Throw up the AL standings for me, Ethan, here as well. Third place in the wild card for them is 67 and 66, a game above 500. And even to get there, the Cleveland Guardians have won 6 in a row. The Red Sox are 73 and 59. I think that's what that says. Sorry, folks. A little far for me to read that. Yeah, and they've won 5 games in a row, right, to get there. Now, this has changed a little bit, but this is fascinating to me on the American League side. That's what I was saying earlier. If you're a betting person and you want to bet who's going to win the World Series, and I don't know what the odds are. I haven't looked. I didn't look at anything like that. I'm just saying. Or you're talking to your buddies, just tell them, hey, the winner of the World Series is going to come out of the National League, right? So look at this. You have the Tampa Bay Rays, 78 and 54. You have the Chicago White Sox, surprising team out of that Central, 69 and 63. The AL West, their leader, the division leading guys. I'll tell you this, as of Sunday, nobody in the AL West had a winning record. That's still the case, folks. The Astros are 66 and 66 at 500 in the AL West. The Houston Astros right now leading that division with a 500 record. Right, then you got the Yankees, the Red Sox. We already told you 74 and 57, 73 and 59 between those two. Cleveland Guardians are 1 game above 500 in that third spot. 5 teams have a winning record, not including the Astros, which have a 500 record. 5 teams have a winning record, and Cleveland Guardians 1 game above 500. Astros are tied. 5 teams have a winning record in the American League. Yeah. Wow. And it gets bad quickly, too. Like Rangers are 1 game under 500. And then starts to get bad quickly after that. Whew. Look at that. But what's up with the AL West, right? If you just look at it, I know I don't have the graphic for you here. The Astros are 500. Texas Rangers are 1 game under 500, even though they've tried to sell everything at the trade deadline. Seattle Mariners are 5 games below 500. Then the Athletics are 52 and 81, and the Angels are 52 and 81 as well. What's up with that division? So you go from that bad division, as I said, and you go to the East, where you've got 3 teams, in the playoffs right now. Baltimore Orioles are 64 and 68. They're within by fighting distance, kind of battling it out. They go on a run, they can get there. I don't think they're going to. They're tied with the Blue Jays right now as well. But then you got the surprise of the AL Central, Chicago White Sox winning that division. It's only 69 and 63, but still right there. Cleveland Guardians 1 game above in that last wild card spot. Yeah. What happened to the Detroit Tigers and the Twins that were supposed to have good years? Whew. That AL has a lot of surprises. The American League has a lot of surprises and a lot of disappointing teams that should be doing well and they're not. And The American League's an interesting perspective here. Now, I'm not saying somebody in the American League can't win it, right? Tampa Bay Rays are having a heck of a season. They're really good. Now, Giancarlo Stanton is out again for the Yankees. They're going to get Aaron Judge back and healthy, and hopefully, maybe. But the Yankees have played without Stanton multiple times. They're used to doing that, so that's not going to hurt them too much. So I'm not saying that an American League team can't win the World Series. I'm just saying if you're looking at a favorite coming in, anybody think the White Sox are winning a World Series? Anybody think anybody from the AL West winning the World Series, being the Astros, or if somebody else sneaks into there, Cleveland? Rangers or somebody sneaks in. Anybody think they're winning the World Series? Anybody think the White Sox or Cleveland is winning a World Series? It's going to have to come from that AL East to win a World Series to beat a National League team. I would give the favorite to the Yankees and Rays. I think the Red Sox will falter a little bit come playoff time. But they look good at times this year. So I can't even put that into motion on that side. So just interesting things around Major League Baseball here as we're a month away roughly. In terms of days against what we're seeing here in the American League or in the Major League Baseball before the playoffs come up and hit us as well from that perspective. Yeah, Ann says White Sox have the power of the Pope. That is true. I didn't think of that. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe I need to bring back. I think it's in here. Nope, it might be in the background. I think I have that. I have that 2008 White Sox World Series trophy. Maybe I should start breaking that out again now that they're playing well again. I put it up because they've sucked. Maybe I should bring that out. Maybe I'll jinx it if I bring it out though. Maybe I got to keep it hidden as we go into that. Hey, when we come back here, we'll keep it rolling. We got football to talk about. We got Coach Sheehan coming up. Let's go, baby. It's Wednesday here on the main event. Come on back, folks. And we're back here, main event, having some fun. Here on this Wednesday, we got Coach Sheehan coming up at 9 o'clock. We're going to be trying something new. He's out driving around, so he's going to call in and join us here. So we'll have to see what the format is, but it'll be fun to have him on here as well. Coming up with the bird's eye view every Wednesday here on the program as well. And look, Dale Hellestrae, off in Vegas here for the next couple days at a Raiders reunion up there and everything. So he's headed over there and to deal with that. So he'll be back on Monday, Hellestrae will. But I got you today. Tomorrow I got you again with Uncle Lou on Thursday. And then Friday, well, we'll have to see. But we got a football Friday coming up as well out there. 12:40 Diamondbacks, Cubs today coming up. We'll have to see. Go win that series, man. It would be something that'd be great to see happen out there as well. Hey, this week, just to touch on it, since we're about to talk football with Coach Sheehan out there, and we got a bunch of NFL stuff for you coming up later in the program as well. But it's college football week. College football starts this Saturday, folks, coming up here. Now, limited games here this weekend, and quite frankly, not any game that you're going to want to schedule around. It's kind of like a warm-up weekend. I'm excited about the North Carolina TCU game from Dublin, Ireland, just because it's in Ireland and we'll get to see that country. And it's the first football game of the year, so you're going to get excited about it, right? That type of thing. So I'll be excited about that. But, Ethan, if you got it, throw up the schedule this weekend for college football just to kind of preview it. We'll, of course, talk more as we get closer to Saturday coming up. But North Carolina TCU is kind of the highlight this weekend in terms of games. I don't expect anything from North Carolina. I don't know what to expect from TCU, quarterback changes and things. But 9 a.m. kickoff there from Ireland on ESPN, your first kickoff game here for college football this year. Now, some of the other games do intrigue me. Like, I'm really interested. Not that I think North Dakota State's going to do huge things this year. You got Jacksonville State going up there to North Dakota. But what intrigues me about North Dakota State is they've stepped up from Division II into Division I. I'm going to watch this journey starting this year of their growth and see, right? Dominated Division II level. How do they grow, throughout this year, going into next year? So this is like a multi-year follow is what I'm getting at for North Dakota State going in. I'm intrigued by what they're doing, so that game will be fun to watch as well. In my eyes, from that perspective of things, you do have New Mexico State and Florida State battling it out at 4 p.m. this weekend. I expect Florida State to, I don't know what to expect from Florida State, I should say. But it'd be interesting to see how they form against New Mexico State. And I told you guys a lot here over the last several weeks. I am high on UNLV this year in their Mountain West. I think UNLV made a huge mistake not moving over to the Pac-12. They decided to stay where they were. But I think they're loaded this year for their conference. Well, they got Memphis coming to Las Vegas on Saturday. So it'll be fun to watch the UNLV team battle. So there are games to watch if you want to find perspectives out there. There is. But, nothing is like, I got to sit down and watch this. Like if I miss one of these games, I can go watch the highlights or go back and watch it later. And nothing I have to sit down and watch this game. I don't think there's any games like that this weekend. Like USC's ranked 14th, so they're going to destroy San Jose. You're going to think there, but at the same time, they're ranked 14th. I think USC is really too high ranked going into this season. I do think that. So you might want to watch that game to see. So that you can find angles to watch this weekend. But folks, the bigger underlying thing here is college football starts this Saturday coming up. We're still waiting on ASU to name their quarterback situation. We know U of A, fifth-year returning quarterback Fafita is down there. And I'm interested. I've seen a lot of press, and we'll start breaking this down as tomorrow and Friday as well, probably more Friday, looking at the ASU camps and the U of A camps coming up here. And like I said, it's camp. What are you saying? Oh, this guy looked good in camp. This guy looked good in camp, and then they don't play at all or something to that effect. Boley's going to win the quarterback job. They just have to announce it at this point. Mikey Keene, I really like Mikey Keene. He went to Michigan last year, didn't play very much, if at all. But he looked good, at smaller schools before that. Boley, to me, is more, I see a lot of, and I'm not comparing the two other than to give you an idea. Boley, to me, is more like a Sam Levitt type quarterback. He can scramble and he can run. But he's got a strong arm. And I think that's what this ASU coaching staff looks for in a quarterback. And so I think that's kind of what we're going to see with him. I think we're getting another strong quarterback here at Arizona State. Now, can he stay healthy? Can he make the right decisions off the court? Things to that effect, with Boley as they name him the starter coming up. But we're still a week away from Morgan State because it's Morgan State, at Texas A&M, London versus Kansas is what our first three games are. Two of those three games are winnable. The thing about the Kansas game in London is distractions, things to that effect. How do you come out of that Texas A&M game? Depending how that goes. It's kind of the questions on your mindset and things to that effect. So a lot of question marks around the Kansas game coming up here in a couple weeks. Because of the other outside stuff, but they should be Kansas, coming up. But we'll have to wait and see. Ethan says the question is: are you going to the UNLV game since you can drive back after the game? Since it's only a 5-hour drive. That's actually a good point. My appointment. I'm going to tell you more about this appointment I got coming up. Robert made fun of me yesterday because my dad made the appointment for me. Yeah, doesn't everybody's dad make their appointments for him still when they get in their mid-40s? It's something with the company that we have and insurance purposes type of thing. But that appointment was moved from Saturday. I had it this Saturday, but I had to move it because I didn't have the right stuff done, so I had to move it. So it's not till September 12th. So I'll give you, an update on that. Just kind of an interesting perspectives there. It might be something you might be interested in as well, So I'll fill you more on that as we get closer to that date. I got to go get like a ton of blood taken out of me because they're going to inspect like everything. It's an all-encompassing appointment, that I'm going to go to. But that was moved on Saturday, so I'm available on Saturday. I think you know what Robert says, Ethan. Isn't it longer if you have to charge your EV? We'll take Ethan's car. We don't have to charge it. Robert, here's the secret here. Ethan put that in there because Ethan wants to go to that game. He wants to load up the car and go to that game. So he's throwing that hint out there. Hey, do you want to go to that? That's what's really happening there, Robert, as well. No, we take Ethan's car, the hybrid, that so we don't have to stop and charge that. See, yeah, Ethan. Ethan's telling you his plans for the weekend. Oh, that's right. Ethan's going to be booked up this weekend. Modern Warfare 4 is out for Call of Duty. The beta is out this weekend. He played the beginning beta over the last weekend. Now the open beta is this weekend. He likes to be the first to play those games and record his videos for his streaming service and all of that stuff out there. So yeah, I forgot Ethan has plans this weekend. Yeah, I will not see him. He will be in the gaming room all weekend long. Speaking of which, we're developing a website right now. We are going to have a gaming website on there as well for streaming and stuff. That's going to be part of that website because we have some fun things coming up, that we're going to be doing as well out there. But anyway, I digress. We got on to video games and stuff like that. And things. College football starts this weekend, folks. Just like high school football this week as well. And I think, so since SCA doesn't have a game on Friday night, that was announced yesterday, and we told you guys about that. I think I'm going to go see Coach Smith and those guys, Desert Ridge, on Friday night over at Gilbert, open their season in Gilbert. Probably going to go to the Queen Creek game on Thursday night out there. They play Thursday night because they have a new coaching staff there at Queen Creek as well, new quarterback. Well, Tate Reynolds was their quarterback, but injured last year, only played in one game. He played in like half a game in the first game. I think he got in for another couple quarters before he went out again. So they had a quarterback last year, right? But they're working obviously under somebody that's planning to start the season there. So kind of my schedule here coming up over the next couple of games and everything. So that we have to deal with. And for some reason, Ethan likes to tell you guys his whole schedule and everything on the YouTube chat. So there you go, folks. We could just link your calendar if you'd like, Ethan. We can do that as well for everybody. Hey, Coach Sheehan's coming up at 9 o'clock out there, and I'm really looking forward to that Dublin game, not because it's North Carolina TCU. Obviously, TCU is a Big 12 school. I want to see how they look, for competition-wise on the Big 12. I'm going to do my Big 12 rankings, my personal rankings coming out here as well. I have it. I know where I'm ranking TCU at. I'm going to try to have it out by Saturday morning. But if not, I know where TCU is ranked in my rankings with their changes and stuff that they have coming up. And North Carolina is just a disaster of a program right now. Can't get the recruits with their, NFL star-studded coaching staff. The general manager, of the team, Lombardi, is suspended. Still suspended. Lots of question marks around recruiting and things to that effect. And North Carolina just can't get the talent in there. They got some talented guys, but not a bunch. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not rooting against Bill Belichick per se. But I am, I'll put it this way. I am enjoying another school trying to do what Arizona State did with Herm Edwards and that group, and it failing again. That just means to me, that system doesn't work in college football right now. You can't bring down the NFL guys and work them and stuff like that. It doesn't work out. And so it kind of validates the failure that happened here with the Herm Edwards group, with seeing it happen again in North Carolina. So I'm not going to say I'm excited about it and things, and I'm rooting for it, but I am going to tell you I'm enjoying watching it, if that makes any sense to you out there as well. But 9 a.m. kickoff coming up for that program out there as well. The problem with that UNLV game, it just hit me. It starts at 7 p.m., man. You're not getting back until like 6 a.m. That's ridiculous. That game ain't getting over till 10:30, 11. And then the drive back on top of that stuff as well from there. So Coach Sheehan's going to be coming up here at the top of the hour. Of course, we'll talk their first game against Pima, 1-0 on the season. No game this week here unless something's changed in the last few minutes. Since this morning around Tonopah Valley, they've suspended their season. That was the next opponent here for SCA. So, but we will talk a little bit. They have redone. They have Glendale Prep shut down their varsity season, and they're on their schedule. And they have found a replacement for that, I've been told. And I think it's officially been announced. But we'll, of course, ask Coach Sheehan about that coming up as well. And I'm kind of curious how you keep your team fresh with no scrimmage, one game, and then no game again right off the bat, and before your season it gets going. So we'll have to ask him those questions coming up as well. He's going to be driving, so we'll see how the format works and stuff to get this done. And hey, we'll just test it out, see what happens coming up on his perspective as well out there. So that's coming up here in just a few minutes. Really quick, going back to baseball and things. We're going into a CBA thing, and I've just been looking into this offseason. I know the trade deadline's been passed and everything, and I've been looking into this offseason on who's available. Not necessarily because the Diamondbacks can sign, somebody like Skubal or anything to that effect. It's just more of who's available out there that bigger teams will take, which of course will allow the Diamondbacks to steal some other guys maybe that don't get taken. Obviously, Tariq Skubal is the number one free agent out on the market and everything. Now, the question I got is, are the Dodgers going to sign him to a big deal before the lockout occurs or the strike happens, whichever thing's happening here coming up also. So that's the question. Here's the thing, though. Skubal right now is on the Dodgers team where Yamamoto signed the biggest contract ever, but pitcher and a hitter. That's a 10-year, $325 million deal with the Dodgers. Is Skubal saying I need Yamamoto? Now that's pitcher only, by the way. Pitcher only contract. Obviously, he's playing with I just forgot his name. He's playing with somebody who has a bigger contract, but that's because hitting and pitching. So I got to make sure I have that straight for you there. Pitcher only contract there is Yamamoto, 10-year, $325 million deal. Skubal's won 2 Cy Young Awards in the last 2 years. Not going to win it this year, but he has the last 2 going into this one as well. He's missed some time, 6 weeks, with his elbow injury and stuff like that coming up. Early, he had elbow surgery this year. So you get some question marks creeping into this, right? And things to that. But he's having a great year, despite all of that, missing some time and the surgery and all that stuff out there. Yeah. The Dodgers, with their ownership problems, let's put it this way, I'm not sure the Dodgers can pull the trigger on him. Because it's easy for him to go, I need at least Yamamoto numbers. I want equivalent Ohtani numbers for a pitcher that Ohtani's going. Now, Ohtani hits and pitches, so it's a little different, but you're going to at least ask for that amount, right? And in the Dodgers with the ownership situation, is there a chance they can do it? Something to watch here for Skubal. Somebody else, he might end up at another team coming up, but that's the problem. The Dodgers have elevated the expectation level for top-level pitchers with their contracts, even hitters even on that side. So pay attention to Skubal out there. So I was just delving into this, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm surprised the Dodgers haven't wrapped up Skubal yet for future contract. How much of that has to do with the ownership? How much of that has to do with, just the lockout coming thing? Or how much does that have to do with Skubal saying, no, I'm going to hit free agency? You can bid for me there. Another player is going on free agency as well. He runs it up, and I'm not surprised because he's a weirdo. But Jazz Chisholm for the Yankees is going to be a free agent. He's only 29 years old. Doesn't it feel like he's been in the league for 100 years? Heck of a talent, little weird out there. It'll be fascinating to see what happens to him from that perspective as well, from that side. So anyway, I wanted to just bring up I was thinking about the Skubal situation on the baseball side. So, food for thought. How who's going to step up and get Scooble if the Dodgers don't wrap him up and stuff like that? It's kind of the questions that you got. We'll take our break here. Come on back. Mike Sheehan from, of course, Scottsdale Christian Academy scheduled to join us. Get him on here as well. And says, does Ohtani pitch again? He seemed to be injured more frequently than one would expect. Well, this is his knee now. He had Tommy John already. His knee now. But Ohtani does seem to get injured, and it's not going to get easier as he gets older. I think he's going to pitch again because that's part of his contract. They made sure in their contract it's both of them. But you're absolutely right. When does it come? How often does it come? Is it one of those where he doesn't pitch every 5 days, stuff to that effect? Lots of decisions to be made on Ohtani with those injuries and that stuff out there. Come on back, folks. The main event.